Welcome back to 101 East. Across Australia, Aboriginal children are graduating high school at half the national average. But there are some schools fighting these odds to give Aboriginal children a better chance. Chantal Cho reports.
For the pain, suffering and hurt of these stolen generations, their descendants and for their families left behind, we say sorry.
It's 1 year since the Prime Minister apologised to Indigenous Australians for past injustices, a landmark event in Australian history. Jaran College, a private school in far north Queensland, is marking the anniversary with an afternoon of song and dance. For decades, right up to the 1970s, many Australian Indigenous children were forcibly taken away from their parents by government agencies and church missions. The official reason at the time to protect neglected, abused or abandoned children of mixed descent. A report tabled to the Federal Parliament in 1997 revealed at least 100,000 children were affected. Many of them suffered abuse and ill treatment. They became known as the Stolen Generations. A year after the apology, school principal Jean Illingworth wants a student's generation to move on.
The word sorry has got connotations that could lead towards feeling like a victim. If you feel like a victim, then you will be a victim. It should be a remembrance day.
Born and trained as a teacher in Zimbabwe, Miss Jean, as the students call her, refuses to tolerate bad behavior, stolen generation or not. But it hasn't been easy. When the school opened in 2001 with 60 students and 2 blocks, it struggled to deal with students' behavioral problems, let alone teach.
We had difficulty even getting the children into classes. They just refused to go in. They ran around the outside of buildings with sticks, rattling the windows and swearing at teachers.
Today, there are around 500 students taking classes in literacy, math, as well as a wide range of vocations. Students are expelled if they are found guilty of truancy 3 times, and that has improved attendance dramatically. The staff of 100 comes from 16 nationalities, including Australians. Among them is Takoa Tafia, a Samoan in charge of student behaviour. The multinational makeup of the staff, he feels, removes the baggage many state schools tend to have about Indigenous students.
Parents said, they come to me that I'm the stolen generation there, and I will just maintain, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for what you're going through. But what is important to me is your child's education. I'm not a politician, I'm an educator here.
And this is the kitchen. This is the only part that doesn't leak.
Shirley Wallen, a member of the Stolen Generation herself, has 4 grandchildren in Jaran College. They live in this leaky caravan, and she hopes a good education for the kids can be their ticket to a better life.
The kids are itching to get into a house, but like I said to them, the time I pay rent, they're going to be outside eating grass. Joe can go through all the culture part with the island children, the Aboriginal children. It's just they're given a chance these days, and that's why the education is very important for them.
One of her grandchildren, Raymond Cooktown, is a Year 12 student at Jaran.
It means a lot because the teachers really care. They treat you as if you're his family.
As for the apology to the Stolen Generations,
it's just mainly for the elders. Yeah, because they're sort of the stolen generation. But it's just a normal day for me, yeah.
We're in Australia's capital city, Canberra, right outside the nation's parliament, and it was here on February 13th in 2008 when Prime Minister Kevin Rudd issued a historic and emotional apology for the past mistreatments of the Aboriginal people of Australia. Now, Richard, what's been the impact, 12 months on, what's been the impact of that apology?
Look, I think the apology was a watershed in a relation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. Certainly in terms of all the work I've done, there I think is an enormous amount of goodwill on the part of Indigenous Australians, which has been fostered by the apology, as indeed there is amongst large sections of the non-Indigenous Australian community. I'm thinking particularly of corporate Indigenous Australia, which really wants to do something to bring about meaningful change.
Nicole, do you think that the apology, and I'm going to paraphrase the Prime Minister here, do you think the apology was enough to acknowledge the past and lay claim to a future that embraces all Australians?
Well, I think that it was certainly a sincere and heartfelt gesture. And a lot of us did have a great deal of optimism as a result. Unfortunately, however, the Rudd government didn't actually take that groundswell in public support and do something positive with it.
But then again, it's only been 12 months though. It's been a year. Is this a good start? Was the apology a good start for reconciliation?
Well, it was a good start, but unfortunately the 12 months that followed it have been lacklustre.
Pat, would you agree with Nicole's views as well?
I do, despite the fact that, I mean, the Prime Minister rather, was very respectful, he was sincere, he used the most amazing words. It was a very emotional moment for us all.
Well, you were there, you witnessed it.
I was fortunate enough to be in Parliament House, and I went there, I was happy to go there really, for my mother, who was a member of the Stolen Generations, and for those people and those families, it was a profound moment, at least a recognition and acknowledgement that these events actually occurred. And I do agree with Nicole. It's very frustrating because my main problem is, my source of my frustration is that we know a lot. We know a lot about legal aid, about Aboriginal health, employment, education, housing, you name it. We've got reports about it, we've got policies about it, they're all in filing cabinets, they're not being looked at, some good stuff, it's all just been put away and decisions are made, once again, outside. And this is still continuing, and I have to ask, why do we do this? Is Australia anti-intellect?
Richard, just the last word to you. Will there come a time when all of Australia can say that it is proud of its Indigenous culture and heritage, and not just the Aboriginal community?
Well, I certainly hope that day comes, and for a lot of non-Indigenous Australians, that day is already here and has in fact been here, as we've discovered, for quite a while. I feel, as a non-Indigenous Australian, incredibly proud of the role that Indigenous Australians play in our country and the role that Indigenous culture plays in our national identity. And I think that there are lots of non-Indigenous Australians who feel the same, and clearly Indigenous Australians very much feel that strongly. It is a key part of our nation, and we do have a way to go in having every Australian feel that way, but I believe we will get there, and I very much hope and look forward to the day when that comes.
On that note, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on this discussion. And thank you very much for joining us on this rather chilly morning outside Parliament in Canberra, capital city of Australia. From the 101 East team, we'll see you again next week.